Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! And as you can tell by what's in my hand, yes, this is what we're going to review. Is this the best automatic tactical knife ever? The Benchmade Stryker? Let's find out. Is the Benchmade Stryker the best tactical knife out there? Well, perhaps. But is it one of the best automatic tactical knives out there? I possibly think so. This thing is incredibly beautiful and effective. One of the things about this is an automatic or switchblade knife. So when I throw the safety off and I keep my hands out of the way, I press this button here, bazzow, I've got a blade. Now, you might say, Aaron, that's incredibly dangerous. Yeah. Well, not really, actually, because Benchmade puts this little safety lock on here. We'll talk about the features of the knife in a minute. But I actually found I love having an automatic knife because I can open it up, cut what I need, close it up, and away I go. Having to two-finger open a knife, initially I thought, oh, that's much safer, but actually I don't like that as much. It's actually, I would say, much more dangerous than this, or say my zero tolerance spring assist sort of knife. I actually like opening these a lot more than I do a two-finger knife where you have the little fingernail groove, you gotta pry it open. That's actually much harder. Plus the locking mechanism on this is astounding. It's not going to unlock. I mean, once you open this, there's no way you're going to chop your finger. The only way you can really chop your finger is you push this button and press down. So let's get right into this. Why do I like this particular auto knife over all the others? For multiple reasons. One, Benchmade quality. It is incredible. Now, I have to do a full disclosure thing. Here, I am not sponsored by Benchmade. Benchmade doesn't give me free knives, nor do they give me financial compensation for doing this review at all, or any of the other reviews of products I do. So just to let you know, this is a knife I've carried for several years, like, gosh, probably 6 years now, and I love this thing. Of course, I have to be careful what state I'm in, because this push button thing is really dangerous. Like, yeah, right. So that's not a big factor. The knife comes in two variations. One, let me adjust the light here. One is a serrated version with a Tanto style, and another one is just with a straight edge. For this particular knife, I actually preferred the serrations simply because it's a little bit easier to cut ropes and different things. I have multiple knives, just like I did a review of my Spyderco Manix 2. I'll put a link below. By the way, anything I talk about when I talk about links, if you get your phone out and when you're watching this video, if you press that little arrow to the bottom right of the video, it'll open it up to the text description, and there you can find all the links. So just a little handy trick, but this knife is incredibly effective. It stays sharp for a long time. That 154, let's see, right on there, the 154, yeah, there we go, cool. CM steel is a fighter aircraft design steel. It's a stock type steel, not like stock cheap, but it's a bar stock and then it's ground out from there. So that's how Benchmade makes these knives. Something like a S30V steel is a powder steel, whole other characteristic, but this is a very tough steel and quite effective. So how much does this guy weigh? It's pretty hefty. I mean, I've seen other reviewers, I wouldn't say whine about the weight of the Benchmade knife, but you definitely know you're carrying something, absolutely. But I would say that gives you confidence in the product, in that it feels like you've actually got something in your hand. So we're going to weigh this knife, and it comes in at a decent 4 ounces, which means this knife is a 1/4 pound. So, I mean, it definitely feels solid. Compare that to the zero tolerance Hinder. That thing is a fatty at 5.2 ounces. But compare it to the, let's see, what is this? The Spyderco. That thing weighs in like less than 3 ounces. I mean, it's super, super light. So this Mannix is really light. So the Benchmade is somewhere in between. So it's a full 1/4 pound. I mean, it's pretty hefty. You definitely know that you're carrying something substantial. So that's not too bad. Let me get the tape measure here just to give you an idea of how large this knife is, how long it is. Now you'll see that because this is an automatic knife where you have a push button that you flick out, there is no liner lock, there is no body lock, there's no pushback. I mean, it's literally, you take off this safety. Let me talk about I'll talk about the safety in a minute. Let me get the measurements first. But we'll open this guy up here. So the entire knife is, how long is that? You know, ignoring the tip, it's just about 8 inches, right? And the blade here, the effective cutting area is 3.5, and the total blade is 4 inches, or probably just a tiny bit under it. If you happen to be in one of those localities where, oh, it's got to be under 4 inches, you can always wing off the tip and make it 3.98. I'm not going to get into the legalese of knife law and all that. I mean, certainly nothing compared to a firearm. But anyway, the mechanics of this are twofold. There is the push button, and I'm going to hold the blade so it doesn't flick in my face. And that is what the release mechanism is there. And you can see inside how that works. But there is also a safety catch on this guy. So if you slide this up, that blade, no matter how hard I press, will not open. Once you slide the safety catch down, then the blade opens just like that. Now I can press the button and release, or if I lock this guy, now I can't press the button, and this effectively becomes a fixed blade knife. Now, it's got all the nice features of fixed blade, meaning it's super tough. There's only the tiniest bit of wiggle in there at all, just to the nature of that automatic system. Compare that to my, like my zero tolerance. This thing, boy, when you wiggle that thing, it has no motion whatsoever. But my Benchmade, it's always had just a tiny bit of motion in there, and I think that's more of just how the knife is broken in over time. Also, it comes with what's called a Tanto style blade, where instead of rounding here like, I'll show you compared to my Mannix, where it's got a rounded edge, instead there's actually a very hard edge, and this is what's called the Tanto blade style. I actually like that a lot because it allows for a very large cutting area or a small cutting area, but also that little corner has allowed me to just kind of scrape and chisel away at things. So when you sharpen the Tanto blade, you have to sharpen the length of the blade first, rotate, and then sharpen this guy. So it's a little bit different sharpening. It's not too bad. I mean, you put this on, even a Smith sharpener, with the serrations, it's like a 3-step process, but I simply draw there and then I'll work on this guy. So to me, it's actually easier to sharpen this sort of blade. So let me show you how well this thing cuts. I'll close this up, move over here, we'll tilt the camera down, and we'll do the old scientific cardboard test. All right, we'll zoom in here. Okay. And we'll flick this guy out. Alrighty. Now this is not an out the front knife. Let me show you the blade actually swings. Oh, where are we? Sorry. This way. And then it clicks. So I stab the cardboard here. And I slice like that. And how we doing? I'm not a very good left-handed cutter. Hey, check it out. Yep, no problem, sliced right through. And slice again. Easy, easy, easy. Works very well. Now I'm going to show you how super well this penetrates plastic if you need to, instead of using a standard slicing motion, you just need to punch a hole in something with a knife. Never use this knife as a pry bar because that tip is extra fine. I don't know how many knives I've seen with tips broken off. It's very common. So you just push here, you wiggle, and slices right through. Easy. And you can check out the blade inside. There you go. So you come back out here. This isn't as smooth as others because of the black oxide coating. So that's something to consider too. I don't know if they make just a straight stainless, but that black oxide coating keeps the blade nice and clean. It doesn't make as smooth an entry, so that I suppose is a downside, but it's not a big deal. You notice that the pocket clip is in the correct position. So when you bring your pocket clips here, you bring the blade out, you can open it very easily. And let me show you what it looks like in the pocket here. It has just a little bit of point that sticks up. You pull it open, boom, and then you start cutting your rope or whatever you need to do. Works quite well. Also, you do have the option of changing the pocket clip from here to here, so if you prefer an upside down style opening, or you can actually put the pocket clip on the other side. So if you're a left-handed knife user, it's completely compatible. 3 little screws and no big deal. One thing with an automatic knife you want to remember is that every so often you need to lube the mechanism in here, because after a while it just pocket lint and whatever, the knife will click maybe, or it'll even stop here. So just adding a tiny bit of lube. There's knife oil, you can use gun oil, even automotive oil, just a little bit in there, and that will smooth things out. A little bit of a hole there, so if you want to put a lanyard or whatever on the knife, all works. So the Benchmade Stryker, I think it's a 9101 or 9100. I love this knife. It is probably, in my opinion, one of the best automatic tactical knives out there. I highly recommend it. Again, links below. Hit that little button or the little arrow by your video. Check it out. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video. Scroll to the bottom, add a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Check out the links below with that little arrow, or look on your computer there. Please support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. And also, subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little dinger deal, and you'll get reviews, product reviews, things that are interesting, travel, motivational tidbits, just things to add some value to your life. Thank you very much for watching.